everybody. Welcome back to the Gamerpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bradford Carlton. Today's episode, we're talking about how to ask for help as a content creator. So I was sitting here just minding my own business, doing some work, when my wife comes in and goes, "Your content sucks. I'm going to fix that." And I'm like, okay, thanks. So next thing I know, she's posting on my Facebook page. And so some of you may see that. She posted saying, "My content sucks. I need help." And like, that was the extent of it. And I've gotten so many people responding, giving me suggestions, offering me assistance. Like, it's been incredible. I honestly didn't know that I had so much support in my own community. Largely because, the platforms that I post on, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, I don't have a lot of following, but on Facebook, the algorithm doesn't really show my content to a lot of people. I've got 110,000 followers. And when I look at my metrics, when you post something, you can go in the back and you can see how many people actually got to see it. On average, maybe 200, 300. On the high end, it'll, depending on how many shares and comments and reactions it gets, it'll get up to 3, 4, 5,000. But like, those are on the ones that kind of take off. Sometimes I post stuff, I'll have like 100 people reach. And the truth is, the really funny thing is, that's about the same amount of reach that I had back when I had, 2,000 followers. I'd post something, I'd get maybe 100 reach, and now I'm 110,000 followers. I get 100 reach unless people start engaging with it. So just kind of a quick tidbit about the way these algorithms work. They're not in your favor. They really want you dumping money into ads and either that or having a ton of engaged followers. So if you don't have engaged followers, just be aware that you're not going to. Okay, that's beside the point. The point I was making in this episode is like, I'm just flabbergasted to the response that we're getting. She's been handling it. She just took it. She's like, "I'm doing this. I'll communicate with people." And I've had people make some incredible suggestions. There's actually been a couple that she showed me that I'm looking at. I'm like, well, if I take what this person said and I like do this and I do that, like I can like do this. And I actually have some really cool things that we're planning on doing, some new content I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks here. It's just kind of a matter of whether she's planning on taking the bull by the horns or if she's going to like throw it on me and figure out how we're going to do this. But one of the suggestions was, so many people are like, "Well, Brad, you need to be showing gameplay footage." And that's definitely not my thing, right? I really, that's my show, my channel, my content is not about the gameplay footage. I really, I wanted to leave that for other people, especially when I first started this brand. I did not want to be that person with a controller, just kind of chatting because for one, when I play video games, I'm playing for me, not so much to entertain. So I actually read the quests. I actually spend time in my inventory. I've tried, when I played Warcraft, I tried looking at the chat and like engaging, and like I felt like I was missing the game. I was not paying enough attention to them. Like there was just not a good balance. So like that suggestion was kind of like, I'm not going to show my own gameplay footage. That's not for me. But I considered, what if I was able to show my followers gameplay footage? I'm like, hey, like, that's a great way of including my audience and my brand, showing off some incredible gamerpreneurs, getting that gameplay footage onto my content. So now I'm sitting here like, well, like, how do I like do this? Well, I'm going to need like an introduction. I'm going to need, questions or something. I have to like script that whole thing out. We like literally just figured this out in the past 2 hours. And, so I'm trying to like in between calls, like talk this through with her. But like the point of this episode wasn't like to just talk about like, oh, cool, I did this thing and something happened. The point of this episode was to say, you can do this thing and something will happen. So here I am. I have an audience that it turns out is more engaged than I figured they were. I shouldn't be surprising because I get a ton of engagement on my posts. I really do I get a lot of comments. I get sometimes hundreds of reactions, if not thousands of reactions. I get hundreds of shares on my posts. Very, very engaged community. And up until this point, I've never really asked for assistance. I've been just trying to like, oh, I can do this. I'm going to like prove I can do this. And this is the first time, like, my wife made me like, right, maybe ask for help. And people are coming through for me. And so the point I want to make to you is, if you're sitting there and you feel like you're doing this alone, like, but you have an audience, you have an engaged community, you have people who are supporting you and want to see you succeed, be willing to ask for help, because I'm going to wager that they're going to, months and months ago, I had another episode. I think it was like ask for help or something like that. Because this topic comes up a lot. Asking for help is like one of those things that so many people fall down on, and it's so vital to success. Nobody is able to be self-made. I was listening to some motivational speech by former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, the movie star, right? And I think he was giving like a commencement speech, and he said that the one thing that he just finds most offensive is if somebody says that he's a self-made man, because of all of the people who helped him get to where he got and all the things he was able to accomplish. The same thing holds true to you as well. You have the ability, most likely, to do it all yourself. Yes, it's true. You could study your butt off. You can learn skills. You can spend the time to do it. But you can get so much further if you have, or farther, depending on if you're talking metaphorical or distance. Never mind. You can get beyond where you're currently at much faster if you have other people helping you. And the number one way to get people to help you is simply to ask. So if you're kind of in the spot that I am, and you're like, man, I wish I could like improve this part of what I'm doing, or I can improve this or something, be willing to like, hey, reach into your community and go, hey, like I'm having struggles with this. Is anybody good at this and willing to lend a helping hand? And you might be shocked at the number or the quantity, or the number and quantity are the same. The quality of the assistance that you're able to get, right? So long as you're willing to ask for that assistance, I'm willing to bet that you're able to get it. All right. So you ask and you shall receive. Knock and the door will be opened. So that's the point of this episode, that it is not necessarily difficult to get the assistance. So many, when I was working with smaller businesses back when I was an attorney, the number one thing that I noticed with my clients was that they were afraid to ask the questions. So they were always afraid to ask me whether or not they were doing the right thing, because they thought that, one, I was going to judge them, or two, if I told them they were not doing the right thing, that they were breaking the law, that, I was going to like turn them in, or something bad was going to happen. And because of that, a lot of people would hide stuff from me until such time as like it had to come out. And then they would find out about it. I'm like, why didn't you just tell me about this like 3 months ago, and I could have like solved it, and like we wouldn't have had these issues? Oh, I was worried that and then they give me a list of excuses. Be willing to admit the things that you're not necessarily doing right, or you need assistance with now. Okay? Because if you start fixing those things now, where are you going to be at in the future versus where you're going to be at in the future if you don't fix those things? How can you grow? How much faster can you grow if you just take the time and effort, swallow that ego and pride, and be willing to go a little bit further with the assistance of others who know what they're doing? But they're not going to know that you need the assistance until you are willing to ask for it. All right. So I'm going to remind you all, organization is the enemy of sloth. I think I've mentioned this numerous times in the past month alone, that you need to take a list. Come up with a list of what you're good at and what you're not good at. All right. And what you do is the things that you're good at, try to get better at. Okay, that means studying, that means practice, but set that aside for now. The list of things you're not good at, that's the one that you can go and you can ask other people for assistance. It's, as content creators, we have audiences, we have people who watch us, we have people who care about us, even though they've never met us in person. Sometimes your videos are just a disembodied voice over something, right? Well, the people who are listening and watching you, or you're watching your content, they still care. They still want to be involved. They want to contribute something, because deep down, I think everybody wants to contribute, but maybe they just don't know how, or they haven't had that opportunity reveal itself to them yet. And you could be the thing or the person that puts it out there for somebody to unlock the special power in themselves that allows them to get their dreams moving forward. But until someone's willing to ask them for assistance, it may never happen. So take that time, write down what you need assistance with, and just start asking. Not in a manner that you kind of expectant, like, I expect you guys to help me with this. Some people are going to ask you to pay, right? That's the thing you should expect. You shouldn't expect to get anything for free. But you may be able to get it at a discount, or you may be able to exchange services, or you might be able to do some sort of sponsorship or something that makes something a mutually beneficial relationship. That way, everybody is able to benefit from the situation. All right. That's what I got for you today. Don't be just a gamer, be a gamerpreneur.